What's going on, everybody? It's me, it's the PRIME, coming at you guys with another episode of Prime Nostalgia, and I have a very special guest for you guys today. My guest today is Calvin Michaels. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
All right. Hi, everybody. I go by Calvin Michaels. I have a YouTube channel. And then I also do music and have a bunch of other side projects going. So, that's me.
Wow, that's very modest of you, I gotta say. I asked this question to everybody first time on the show. When you were growing up, no matter which time period, just pick one. When you were growing up, what is a typical Friday night?
Oh, okay. You went way back. All right.
Yeah.
Growing up, typical Friday night. If I can think back, trying to think of something that's at least somewhat eventful. Um, Friday night, man. I would have to say, because like the thing is, I lived around, I moved so much, because I lived in Europe and I lived in Georgia and I lived in Washington State, and so every few years we'd move, so every experience was really really different. But if I had one that was the most consistent, um, I would definitely say my high school years, those like ninth grade, 10th grade years. Every Friday night, typically, if I didn't go out with a few friends, now mind you, my parents were like super strict, so I was about to be out all night anyway. A
Understandable.
lot of my friends, we used to stay on like the 5, 6, 7, 8-way calls where you had
Oh,
three-way and then
yeah.
you click over and bring 10 more people in. I remember we used to do that a lot and then be on the phone till God 1, 2 in the morning. Not talking about anything either, just stuff high schoolers talk about, and sometimes we
That
just be on the phone breathing. Um,
sounds very sounds
and
very similar. Yep.
like randomly, I remember I don't even think this was a Friday. I remember watching the Making the Band finale when I think this is when
Oof,
it was the one with the band, and then it was
oof.
also because Danny Kane I think was a little bit later, but I remember it was like 20 of us on the phone with the band, um, and I think when Danny Kane, because Danny Kane I think came out, they had to come out like maybe my junior senior year of high school, same thing. So I remember that was a lot of the things we'd always be on the phone. But if I did go out, they had late night at the Y, like the YMCA, so everybody would always go to that because high school I lived in this little small town called Spanaway, so it wasn't that much to do. So you went to the Y for late night, or you went to Patterson's, the skating ring, which they ended
Oh,
up trying to turn into
okay,
a
great.
nightclub. So
Well, it's about the same thing when you think about it.
yeah.
One is like a nightclub for like kids, and one is like a regular nightclub.
Oh no, they tried to make this one a nightclub for teenagers though. That it was supposed to be
Oh,
called Club Tropics. My mom was
oh
like, "You
my
ain't
God.
going there." Nope. But so skating rink was canceled when it turned into a club.
Yeah, understandable. So I want to talk to you about your. See, I like to talk about TV shows and movies. 'Cause that's what this whole thing is about. So, just for you and you personally, what was your favorite movie that you enjoy, either growing up or just now? What is just your favorite overall movie?
All right, man. I don't know if I've ever had one, but I'll say the movie I can quote verbatim is Set It Off.
Okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
I I don't know why I'm obsessed with the movie. I think because I really like F. Gary Gray, the director. I like all of his
Oh,
work because
yes.
he also did
Yeah.
like music videos and stuff too, like TLC Waterfalls and all that. So he's just always had really really great
He
movies.
also did if I'm not mistaken, he did Tupac, California.
Yep, California
Yeah,
Love.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Was that him or Brett Ratner? No, it was F. Gary Gray. Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. So he's always just had really great projects. So Set It Off is one. Um, Friday. It's between Set It Off, Friday, and Baps. It's one of them three.
Okay, okay.
Um, Set It Off was always a favorite because I like the character development in the film, and when you look at the movie, it's you got Vivica, Queen Latifah, Jada, and Kimberly Elise, and it's right before all of them really blew up as far as actresses. So they were all hungry for it. So it's like they went above and beyond in their roles. So I don't know if I've seen a movie come out in recent years that had like such a great chemistry with the cast. I wish the movie would have been promoted better because it didn't really do that well initially. They didn't really know how to market it, but it's kind of a cult classic amongst a lot of people. So that's always been a good one.
Well, to be a cult classic, You have to be a bad movie to be a cult classic, as far as I'm
Well,
concerned.
I'm talking numbers, cult classic, but I mean
But
it's not a bad movie. But yeah, because I think the first week it only made like $16 million at the box office its opening week.
ooh,
So yeah,
really?
and I mean,
Man,
mind you, he was cutting corners because I think Jada was the highest paid, and they only gave her 600,000 for the role.
ooh.
So I mean, they were cutting corners to make it happen, and I think they did what they could do. It's one of those movies people didn't appreciate till years later.
What's your favorite quote from the movie? Then?
Oh, Lord, I can't say it because it's bad words, but the part I crack up every time is when they go to rob the second bank, and finally they've convinced Kimberly Elise's
Okay,
character to go with them, and so she has to
okay,
pretend to be the victim on the floor. That is that scene
I got you.
where she starts pleading, Vivica cuss her out. So
That scene, y'all.
that's my I
Oh
die every
man.
time because it just reminds me of like being a kid and when you had that one friend in the group that was always scary and just would mess up everything. Like I was like that crap was relatable. I crack up every time. Like I still laugh at it as if I just saw it for the first time every single time that comes on.
So you said you gave me your top three, or whatever. What is some that you hate? Because everybody has some that they hate. What are some that you just absolutely just hate?
A movie I hate.
You just hate to even think about it.
Jeez, do I hate? Because normally I just turn it off. Let me think. I'm trying to think. If there's a movie I've seen that I just thought was horrible when I went to see it. Um, Dang, I'm about to go after Tyler Perry.
Oh,
Uh, Jesus.
oh, okay. Let's get on Tyler Perry then.
All right. He's the only one I can think of right now. I pray to God I don't ever get famous and these things come back to haunt me years later. Um, Tyler Perry, I'd have to say. Actually, no. I'll leave him alone. Scary Movie 4 and 5 were the worst things I ever seen in life. Actually, I'll throw 3 in there almost too, but because Regina Hall was still so funny, I let it slide. And I think it sucked because the politics behind it, like the Wayans brothers, and then so it was Keenan and then Marlon and Sean. They did the first one. Or
Mhm.
the I think I want to say Keenan directed it and then Marlon and Sean wrote it. One something mix like that. And then
That
the
seems
second
like
one,
something that happened. He wanted behind the scenes and they write it. Yeah.
yeah. Then the second one happens, and they're still in it in the mix, but there's other people involved, and so you can tell that there's a difference. It's not as good. And then that third one came out, and I was like, "What is this?" And literally, it was only good for Brenda. And then that fourth and fifth one, I was like, "This is horrible." It's not even Brenda wasn't good. I was like, "What y'all doing?" So like that one pissed me off because I used to be obsessed with Scary Movie because Regina Hall is
Which
one of my
one is the
favorite
one
people.
with? Which one is the one with Charlie Sheen in the beginning?
That's the third one. That's when
Oh,
when
okay.
it starts shifting. It's not terrible, but it's just a movie that's there.
That's when it
Um,
starts too much.
that and oh, actually, you know what? And then when I was in high school, because I used to dance too, I hated the movie Honey. Um,
Yep.
Only because I hated the dancing in it, and I thought the plot was corny. I was like, if you could have mixed maybe the plot from Honey with the dancing from You Got Served, it would have been a better movie. But yeah, Honey, I was livid watching that because I thought the dancing would have been so much better. It was just real elementary. So
Well, I don't know how much of a fan you are. Like, I'm not a fan of anime or anything, but this is considered an anime. But Avatar, the last Airbender movie, I just that's terrible. I don't know how you can mess up something so good with an adaptation, but they somehow did it. Anyways, you said something about dance, so I would have to ask you because you did say something about it. Your favorite dance, anything dance, like favorite thing to dance to, favorite, you know, type of music to dance to.
um, let's see, favorite dance. I mean, well, in my little choreographer years, all my favorite stuff to dance to was really all the music that was really hard hitting. Um, I really liked, I really liked a lot of the stuff people were doing in like the late '80s, early '90s, just because the music, you can tell like the production was kind of centered on people dancing. That's why I think New Jack Swing was such a huge movie when
Oh,
it came
thank.
out because
I'm
people,
glad you said that.
yeah,
That
people
is
like
my
to move.
favorite,
Yeah,
my
so
absolute favorite type of music.
but
Absolute.
as far as like when I used to coach all the different teams and everything, I never really had a specific preference. It was more so if I could just visualize what I was doing with it, I could make it work. Because I remember I had a group one time. We used this song by Tweet called Steer, which was not really something you would that wouldn't be the first choice for a
Yeah.
song, but it's just all about like what you can create too. But I know for me, if it's like a random Saturday or something and I'm cleaning up and I'm dancing around the house or something, it's usually a lot of up tempos from late 80s, early 90s, and then I'll fast forward to like 2000 to 2008ish. And sometimes I like house music too, so it varies.
Okay, well, you done got me started on this conversation of New Jack Swing. So, do you have a favorite New Jack Swing song?
Yes. Actually, damn, no, I don't. I got.
Mhm.
Well, here's the thing,
It's
right?
it's hard to just choose one, honestly.
New Jack Swing, because it evolved like three times. So I always say there's
Okay,
the early New Jack Swing, and then there's peak New Jack Swing, and then there's the New Jack Swing on the way out. So my three. So the early New Jack Swing, as far as 86, 87,
mhm.
88, I'm gonna say it's got to be a guy song. I'm gonna
Oh,
say,
City Train all the way.
dang, yeah, people give Janet Jackson credit for Nasty as the first New Jack Swing song, but I just looked at that as a song that had a swing beat. But I don't think of New Jack Swing until Guy. So it's definitely a guy song. I'm gonna say um, Do Me Right was a little bit later. I'm trying to think of one of the early ones. Uh, Shoot, I like maybe
Like,
so I like is probably one of the first ones. And then as far as the peak New Jack Swing era, where it was just really, really, really just a great time. Um, Damn, that's so hard. I thought I had this down, man. um, I'm gonna say SWV. I'm so into you because
oh,
the melody was so good. It wasn't
okay,
as hard hitting. It was a little bit more melodic than some of the other ones. And then as far as New Jack Swing on the way out, I definitely say Jade, Don't Walk Away. Probably,
okay.
honestly, that might be my favorite New Jack Swing overall. But that song, if you listen to it in comparison to the other New Jack Swing songs, it's really different from the others. It's kind of like even like a Ralph Tresvant sensitivity. They're like
Oh,
very different. They're New Jack Swing, but it's towards the late. Well, actually, that was about 1990, so Ralph was still kind of hanging in. But Jade was like
you heard any
92.
remixes to it, or you haven't?
Yeah, you said the remixes.
Yes, those alternate versions are definitely New Jack Swing
Yeah,
to the fullest.
because that first the main one is a little bit smoother, but it still has the New Jack Swing beat. But he just put a bunch of strings on it to make it like smoother. So, oh, and you know what? I left Bobby Brown Getaway out. That's another favorite too.
Oh my, yeah,
And I
yes.
think now, if I had a favorite New Jack Swing album, um, it
I'll
would be
say, don't,
TLC's on the TLC tip. Like
I
literally every
don't.
song on there's the New Jack Swing song, minus the three or the two ballads. So, or not ballads, but slow jams. I think that was a really good blend of just New Jack Swing songs that are all. That's a fun little album. It's a little underrated. It gets put behind Fan Mail and Crazy Sexy Cool, but I always thought that was a really good album.
Mine would probably have to be "Don't Be Cruel." Just it's just too many boppers on that joint. Just for me personally.
Actually, like I like that album, and I'll say I like it. It's just I never listened to the second half of it. You listen to them first five songs, the
Okay.
"Don't Be Cruel" and "My Prerogative" and "Tenderoni" and "Rock with You" and every little step, and then I don't know what's on the rest of it. I just know them first five, and his team was smart putting them all back to back to back to back.
I
But
mean, yeah. I mean, and honestly, he ain't had that many songs to finish it, so they probably had to redo some songs or remix them. But
yeah,
stuff happens.
hmm yeah, but
You don't get
that was a good era. I definitely miss that era. I just like because people still did up tempos. People aren't really doing up tempos anymore. Everything is vibe music, which is cool, but I'm like, damn, how much vibing we gonna do? Sometimes I want to crank a little bit, and then you got to go to the rappers to get that. So there's not a lot of R&B people really giving you up tempos anymore.
New Jack Swing just got that like that funkiness. I don't know how to explain it. It's just that when you listen to a New Jack Swing song.
Yeah, if
But
I could time travel as an adult, I would have loved to either have been a teenager or a young adult during the New Jack Swing era, because I'm sure those were some good parties. Because that's when you had to really know how to dance too. So
well,
that would have been a good
depend
time.
what you gotta differentiate on which party you mean, because some of them parties back then was also crazy. So
I mean, yeah, crazy, but okay. So when I grew up and I used to watch like House Party, the movie, I always thought it was cool because house parties and everybody was dancing and would freestyle and do all that. By the time I was old enough to go to house parties, you were just a bunch of hormonal teenagers gyrating, so nobody was really dancing. Um, and then even like parties and stuff, the club is very different too now. But back then it was kind of, and I think some of that comes from even early hip hop culture, where you still had like battle groups, especially in those early '80s. Some of that culture kind of shifted into the late '80s, early '90s, more so with people coming to the club to actually try to showcase what it is they could do. So that doesn't really happen anymore. You get laughed at if you go to the club now and try to bust out an 8 count or something. So
Hey, hey, hey. I want to see somebody. If somebody actually did have a dance battle or something, I would actually legit like bust out in an uproar of happiness.
I think it very, like when I still lived in Seattle, if I went to some of the club, there was a club there called like Capicart or something. But this was more of a club where it was like a more diverse population, like Black people, Asians, Pacific Islanders. You'd see people there like battle and
So you got all
bust
types
out
of
a thing. And so when I moved to DC, and I thought they were gonna do that out here, it was like, oh no, that doesn't happen here. Okay, all right.
yeah, nah.
So,
Well, we're gonna go back to your childhood era a little bit. So I want to talk about some of your favorite shows growing up, or if you had a certain shows. Some people didn't watch much TV, understandable. But did you have any favorite shows or
oh
anything?
man, I had a bunch. When I was really young, it was The Simpsons. It wasn't even close. Like I was obsessed. Um, and then unfortunately, this show's not really good anymore. They've gotten rid of all the original writers. But Simpsons, I was hooked on as a kid. And then I remember the TV I had in my room was like one of those throwback TVs with the wood panels, and it had the buttons where it actually had the button that said what channel you're hitting. So it only went up to channel 15. And so
Okay.
I think by that time the Simpsons were in syndication, and so I knew every day that the Simpsons came on at 7. But I couldn't change the channel on my TV, so or I didn't know how because I lost the remote, so it was always stuck on it was channel 13. It was always stuck on that channel, and so I ended up watching MASH all the time because MASH would come on before The
Oh,
Simpsons, and I knew when MASH went off, The Simpsons would come on. So I mean, I can tell you all the MASH episodes, and that crap that's the most dry show for a kid to watch.
that's a
But
that's a channel changer for me to be
yeah, so I watched
completely honest.
MASH. So Simpsons was one. As far as sitcoms, Living Single was always funny. It's funnier now as an adult because I can actually understand a lot of the jokes. Um, Martin was one.
Of course.
It's just a given at this point for most folks. But I also liked, I didn't get into Cosby until I was older. When it was actually, I was old enough to remember watching it on TV when it was still out, but I don't remember like watching it like that until I was probably in middle school. So Cosby definitely became one later on. But as an actual kid during that era, I liked Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Ooh,
Hanging with Mr.
really?
Cooper.
Okay.
What else? Because I like the theme
Can you bust
song.
out the theme song real quick? Yeah.
Yeah, because In Vogue was on. I thought that was dope. Oh, okay. Um, I remember watching The Living Color too. I liked it then. When I try to watch
Well,
it now, the jokes are a little dated, but back
well,
then it was good.
I mean, I liked it because it gave other people a platform other than SNL. So
Yeah.
I I like that aspect of it. Uh, Mr. Cooper, that's a deep cut. Nobody really. The only kind of deep cut I get was like Carmen Sandiego or something.
Oh, you know what? And then other one I always forget about. Sinbad had a sitcom. I can't even remember what the show was called. He had a sitcom I used to like watching when I had to be
Wait
five
a
or six.
wait a minute, Sinbad.
I'm telling my age, man. But Sinbad had this sitcom that used to come on. And that was actually a pretty funny show.
Was
Um,
it called Sinbad?
I honestly wouldn't even be able to tell you what it was called. It probably was called that.
Because
I just
I
remember
think I seen something of that.
he was on. What else did I watch? Though I mean, those were the adults. So as far as like kid shows, I mean, Rugrats, Doug, All Road Monsters was probably my favorite Nicktoon to
Okay.
watch. Um, so I think I downloaded one of those apps so I can still watch that show today. I forgot what the app's
Yeah,
called.
I got VRV. If you guys don't have that, that's where they show a lot of Nicktoons and other stuff. But it's it's a good little app for you to use if you want to catch up on some stuff. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, so there's that. As I got older, I became obsessed with Mad TV because I really like Deborah Wilson. Um, like I thought she was hilarious when she used to do like the Oprah, Whitney, Beyonce parodies, and then the rest of the cast was actually really funny too back then. So like Mo Collins, Michael McDonald, the woman who right now she voices Lois on Family Guy. I can't think of her name, Alex something.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I always said that was a funny show. Um, And then by the time I was, it's weird. Like between ages of like 8 and 10, I lived in Europe, so we didn't watch TV. So
Okay.
um, that's when I got learned how to become like really creative. And so, and then I guess when I came back from Italy in '99. Then by then I was into like the Parkers, Moesha, all those kind
M
of
to
shows.
the O to the E to the. I like Moesha, man. Moesha is a good show. So, do you or have you ever had a Topanga or a Kelly Kapowski or any like just major crush like that?
Oh Lord, Boy Meets World. I barely watched that show to be honest. Or I remember watching it. I don't
Oh,
remember.
you're missing out.
I mean, I know I watched it. It's you. I couldn't even remember half the episodes if I were to look back now. But growing up, see, I can say I was an original. So I remember I saw Eve's Bayou. I was obsessed with Megan Good. Um,
Mhm.
obsessed for the
Okay.
longest. Megan Good was one. The other, my friends always said I was ratchet for this, but on one, Kyla Pratt's friend Spirit, I used to be obsessed with for some reason. They're like, how you go past Kyla Pratt to the friend? I was like, that's who I
I
liked
mean,
at the
that's
time.
kind of yeah. How can you do that? Come
I
on now.
said, what kind of ratchet mess? But I don't know something about her. I used
Come
to
on.
like her. And Kyla, it was her. It was Megan Good. I'm trying to think back, man. Oh, Melinda Williams, that's her name.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I was like Melinda Williams. Oh,
Uh,
Nia Long from
oh
when she
yeah.
was on
Yeah.
Fresh Prince.
Yep. It's it. See, it's always weird because like I obviously ask like different guys this question because usually I get the same answer. I get like Gina, Pam, Ashley, Hillary. I get all those. So it's nice to hear something different once in a while.
See, I think because I was in Europe during like the heyday for some of the shows, I missed the train. So when Fresh Prince was out, Ashley was still like a little girl by the time I left, and so it she by the time I came back, the show wasn't even on TV anymore. So
Okay.
okay, but I'm sure I would have had a more of an appreciation for like Tatiana Ali if I would have been around a bit more.
Yes. Yes. Because yes. Just yes. Okay. All right. I take a moment. All right. So we are talking about movies, talking about TV shows, all that good jazz. Do you have like when you watching a movie, you watch it just for the music, like a bio series, something like that?
Oh, I'm the worst when it comes to watching those because I'm already a music head, so I can't ever just enjoy the movie. Oh, I'm about to seam rip and dig up everything that's wrong if it ain't right. Um, I, hmm, I'm dang. It depends. If I don't know anything about the artist, it's easier for me to kind of enjoy. But if it's like an artist I'm a fan of and they get a biopic or something, then I'm heavily critical because I'm like, please get it right, please get it right. So
Yeah,
if
I'm
I
like
had a
that.
favorite, like I always liked the Jackson 5 American Dream series. I thought they did a good
Oh
job
yes,
with that.
they
I
did.
always liked the Temptations one, and then when I
That
did the research and found out, I'm like, oh, y'all was on here lying in this movie. I'm like, dang, maybe
I
not like it
mean,
as much.
it was I understand it was like one person telling the story of his book, so I can understand it's from one perspective. So I don't give it much flack because I
Yeah.
understand it's one perspective.
Oh, it's still good, but I was like, damn, Otis, you over here just okay, Otis, you was cooking
Hey,
some of this story. I said, you're gonna
it
let
be
the one
like
person who didn't lead anything tell the whole story, huh? That's like
it be
fair
like
giving
it be
Destiny
like that
Child
when you the
biopics.
only it be like that when you're the one alive. So hey, it be like that.
The other ones just died a few years ago. Otis was trying it, but that's a good one. But yeah, like I remember the TLC movie I liked but didn't like at the same time because I felt that the end got rushed a bit and they made Left Eye just look crazy, which I was like, okay, y'all gonna have to put better context with this. But I did think they did a good job with like the costuming and everything. Um,
I
the Aaliyah
think
movie they could have kept that wasn't needed. I don't think anybody felt that at all. Um, I'm trying to think what else there is.
well,
Those
I'm gonna
Lifetime
give you a
ones they can
secret.
keep.
I'm gonna give you a secret. What makes a good biopic is a series, not just a 1 or 2 hour biopic. Because you
I
can't fit
agree.
like
Yep.
into that's you gotta fit it into 4 hours and like when people watching it, some people do complain, be like, why is it so long and so like this? But I mean, you gotta think you fit in like 30, 40 years maybe. of somebody's life and career into like a short span. So
Yeah, I
you
think that's
know,
why the new edition one was so good because they actually took the time to really polish it. So they did a really good job with that one.
so me personally, I'm gonna say like my favorite movie, just movie aspect, especially for the music and all that, is The Temptations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can quote that almost word for word. Ain't nobody coming to see
Come to
you,
see you,
Otis.
Otis. Uh
Yes,
huh.
which is now that I think about it, I seen an article like a couple of weeks ago, and it was like Otis may be the pettiest man alive because when people come to see the Temptations, they are basically coming to see Otis.
Uh huh.
So that's something that makes me laugh. It makes me laugh, but kind of sad that everybody else is dead. But are you
Oh,
interested?
we
Like,
leaving out what's love got to do with it. That's probably that's
oh
might
yeah,
be one of my
yeah,
favorites, and I think I like that one because like the Temptations bit, they got the music right on that one. Like the
yeah.
music performances are really well put together. With the Temptations, what I liked was that you were able to pretty much follow the career. They were very accurate as far as the musical impact, um, and capturing that essence. I said my critique of what movie was it? There was a movie with I don't know if it was Tony or if it was the Whitney Bobby love story one, where I just felt like they didn't really capture the impact that they made musically because they spent so much time with the back drama. I'm like, you got to have
Well, I
a
know
balance of both.
the Whitney movie. I did not like that one at all. Like it had some okay stuff, but for the most part, I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling this movie.
Hmm.
The I think that was the Whitney movie. The Whitney.
Is that the one where Deborah Cox does the vocals on it? Or is it?
Uh,
Because I think there's
I
two of
believe
them.
so. I think it's like a Whitney movie and a Whitney biopic.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, there is. There is. I forgot about all that. God, they did so many. Yeah.
yes. Um. Okay, so the next biopic to come out, do you think is do you what next biopic do you want to come out, or would you care about seeing?
All right, like I said, Phyllis Hyman would be one. I just think
Mhm.
she has such a dynamic story. I actually want to check out this DeBarge one that's coming out. I know it looks real cheesy and tacky, but they
Oh,
have such a unique story. I'm like, maybe I can look past the budget and the
isn't it
story
on
still might
TV
be
One?
good. It's on TV One. I think this is
I'll
the
be trash.
first biopic they've ever done. I'm trying to be supportive because
I'll
they
give it a
did
chance.
such a good job with the unsung. So I'm like, man, I need the unsung influence to come into
Oh,
this biopic because it ain't looking too good right now. But I don't know. I won't judge until after I watch it. But somebody else who I think they should cover hasn't been like jeez, I'm just because some of these people have had some really interesting lives.
um,
They might need to do
any
another girl group biopic. Maybe like I wouldn't mind seeing an Escape one. Um,
oh,
or if they're
escape.
gonna do Destiny's Child, I want them to do it right. But
Well,
which
I
ain't
don't
gonna
think they
happen.
can get.
So
I don't think they can get a Beyonce, honestly, or Kelly.
like I want some scoop. That was the difference I always said between TLC and Destiny's Child. TLC just had all their dirty laundry everywhere in front of you. Destiny's Child did have the member changes, but they always had really good PR. But TLC, they just fight in front of everybody and not care. I'm like, okay. So
Yeah, we
I
broke.
know Destiny's Child. I know Kelly popped off on Beyonce a few times at some point. Couldn't all have been that sweet. So, but I like them. So that would be probably a good one.
I don't know if they were ever do a Wu Tang biopic. That's too many actors to
There's
add.
50 people in that group. Ain't nobody sitting through them. They got too many members.
It's too many actors. I mean, I, I'm pretty sure we will get one that's like unexpected, one that's good but unexpected. Like
Oh, you
the
know what? High five. I mean, they didn't have a really big career, but they got a lot going on. You got folks killing people. I think two of them killed somebody. So that'd be a story there.
well,
One of them killed somebody right when they got famous, and so he had to leave the group. And then somebody just recently killed somebody a few years ago. So they have a good
jeez.
little story.
I kind of would want to see the story of Boys to Men. Just because they did fight and now one of them was out the group and all that. I want to see that
Yeah, they're
drama.
gonna fight
That
the one
drama.
with the bum knee. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that drama of him, of his side and their side. Like him can't, I guess, get the dance moves or whatever because his back or whatever was hurting, and them being mean to him, and just stuff like that.
I can
So
see that or Jodeci too.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of people that can have some really good ones. I just want Phyllis to get hers. Somebody give Phyllis her flowers.
So you have a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I come to your channels when I know something is bad and I want to see you talk about it. So be honest. Like the Soul Train Awards this year. It wasn't bad, but I still wanted to
This is just
see
empty. Yeah.
I want to see your take on it. And man, some of your takes are actually like very, very well spoken and entertaining. I gotta say.
Mhm.
I just gotta put that out there. But
Thank you.
no problem. Is there anything that you like want to do on your like channel or anything that you like just you know maybe one like something that you really be wanting to do but you like maybe I shouldn't?
I've been a little bit more diplomatic with some of the subjects I cover, just because I'm learning that. How do I word this? I'm learning there's just a lot of people who just aren't intelligent, and when I say that, I mean that you can give your 2 cents and give a million facts that are tangible to back it with visuals and supporting evidence, and people will still fight and claw you. And I'm like, you know what? So there's some subjects that I just won't touch. So like I know. Even with this abortion thing, I know a lot of people really want me to really. I'm like, I'm not even touching it. Like, I'm not even going there today.
Yeah,
Like,
I
there's
get you.
no way, no matter what I say, it's gonna be people pissed off. And then a lot of times, um, depending on the subject matter or who it is that I'm addressing, then you get the waves of trolls who show up. So a lot of times, like if it's something like white people do something crazy, depending on what it is, I'm like, I'm not even touching it because I don't feel like dealing with the wave that comes in. Because what's happening a lot on my channel is when I talk politics or race, um, if the video, and mind you, I don't have any like animosity towards anybody. Everything I always talk about is structural, just from a historical standpoint and how it impacts people today.
Hmm.
But anytime I talk anything in association with race and white people don't look good, those videos always end up on like those like white supremacy blog sites. So like
Oh man.
4chan and 8 this and Monkey this and Charbait, they got all kind of websites. And so I always notice like I have a video and I'm like, okay, and you, like normally if I make a video, I know I'm gonna have a few people who don't like it. Cool, but normally it's like a 95 to 98% positivity rate, and then there's that little 2% that's always gonna be mad about everything. And so sometimes the video will come out and it's good, and it's been a week, and out of nowhere, you just start getting like a wave of angry, just a mob, and you all kind of in words, and then they're trying to hack into your YouTube account and everything. And so I'll take the video link and put it in Google and see where it pops up. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, wait, found this way on one of them little crazy websites. Like, okay, so they got all kind of little strategies. So with that, I'm always careful with what I talk about when it's like politics or something. And then with
Okay.
music, I guess because I also do music myself, I'm trying to be a little bit more strategic with how I critique other artists because I'm like, I don't know where my stuff will take me, but I'm like, if I end up in the same room with these people and I said that the album was dry, like, okay, how does that
Hey,
work?
look,
But I mean, I try to
I
be
would own it.
transparent though, so it is what it is. Like, um, I get called a hater a lot, and it's like I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I just expect, I want the best for everybody, and so I try to give my 2 cents. That's why I get so passionate with like the award shows when it's like you have a whole year to put together an award show, and there's all these talented artists out there, and then
Okay,
one the
you
finish
have a whole year. They don't use it. Okay, they probably do like a week before or
exactly
like
they
a
a
couple.
week before, and so then you get something like either like the last Soul Train Awards where they had nobody there, and so
Cause that
that's an
BET
issue.
Awards every year it's like disappointing every year, or at least to me it is.
That aspect too, where then when you do have the ones where people show up, it's like the acts aren't really. It's just not together. I think the last good BT Awards I liked was the one where they did the Prince tribute, and that honestly was because it was older acts that were there and they're already seasoned performers. A lot of the newer acts who are out are just not seasoned because the labels no longer believe in developing the artist, and so they just throw people out there to do anything, and then they be thinking they're killing it, and because the fan base is 17, 18 years old, they just want to have a good time. So they're not looking at a lot of it from a more critical standpoint. And so I'm trying to be a little bit more open minded from that aspect and reminding myself that, okay, you also are older and your ears are older. So you're not going to always align with what's current. So I'm trying to not be so critical. But man, I'm like, they just be doing anything sometimes, especially the more pop oriented shows like Billboard or the VMAs. It's like, it's torture to sit through those. That's why I don't even review some of those anymore because I'm like, I can't even sit through this anymore. It's a waste of time.
Well, look, I can't sit through it. Period. So that's why I come to your video.
Oh, I
But
get a lot of comments like that. What I say, oh, I didn't watch. I just want to see your review on it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, at least somebody got it. Hey, thank you for saving me some time. I'm like, yeah, y'all welcome. I mean, I had to stay up till 1 in the morning
it be like
reviewing
that.
it, but
I mean, look, man, it do be like that sometimes. But I want to ask you about an evolution. So, say you get a hate comment when you first started YouTube to now. How has your reaction changed to embracing the hate or whatever?
oh,
You know.
back in the day, I used to argue back. Oh, really? I would have paragraphs ready to type. Because when I first started, like the initial purpose of my YouTube channel was at the time I had just started doing stand up comedy. Oh, yeah, because I started my channel in '05, but I never started blogging until almost 2011. So from '05 to like 2010 ish, it was only like old clips from like me doing like choreography, and really it was like a resource. So any groups that I work with, I'm like, okay, if you didn't learn or pick up everything we did today, go to the YouTube channel, it'll be on there. So that's what that was for. And then I had some of my first comedy shows on there. That was it. And then one day I just randomly felt like talking about some story I saw on the news, and I was very diplomatic with how I like presented it. And so I wanted to make sure that nobody's feelings were hurt, and let's all come together and be happy and kumbaya. And then, so if somebody said something, that wasn't positive, I try to appease and, well, I hope you didn't interpret it that way. That's not what I meant. And man, fast forward some years, I'm like, the hell with it. I don't even respond to negative comments anymore, unless it's just one where I feel like there it has me being presented in a way that I don't think is true of how I'm represented. Then I'll say something. But usually, I don't even respond to hate comments anymore, because at this point, my channel like doubled in size in like the last year, so I have twice as much as of traffic, so I can't even get to half the comments anyway. But yeah, I always tell people who do like blogging or podcasting or anything, like we have this thing as humans where you can get 1,000 positive comments and that one negative one will get you in your feelings. And so you
Yeah.
have to get into a space where you don't give your energy to the negative. So like even I haven't done a video in about 2 weeks. I'm a little behind because I've been traveling, but um like even I did a Steve Harvey one, and a lot of people didn't like what I said about Steve. And I was like, mind you, this was a conversation about the wealth gap. It wasn't about Steve Harvey. I just used him as a segue to the conversation. But a lot of people couldn't get past the fact that I called Steve Harvey out on a few things. So automatically they missed the whole message, and now I got to be all kind of crazy names. I'm like, really, y'all? Okay. So there's that.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you, me personally, I answer back to every single one of them, and I say one phrase: "Thanks for the view, thumbs up," and that's it. And I heart the comment too,
Oh yeah, those are the fun. You can always have fun with the comments too. I like doing that sometimes. Have a good time.
because
Um,
they get mad because they viewed it. I mean, they can't say nothing.
mhm.
They can say I don't like it, but they still gave me the view. So that's all I say. I think thank you for the view. I like every single one. Like I'm not mad towards anybody, so I don't got no reason to be mad. I give them thumbs up and everything. Maybe that's too nice, or maybe that's just being too sarcastic. But hey,
Because what happens with mine is I have a lot of people who are subscribed who don't even like me. They just subscribe so they can push this like as soon as I upload something. I'm like, damn, y'all oppressed, huh? Um, like my last podcast episode, it had literally been uploaded for all of like 5 seconds, literally. Like I watched it go from processing to uploaded. And so I went to click on it to make sure it was right. And it already had a dislike. I'm like, who? How? Who is that mad? And it was like a podcast for me talking about something when I was like 10 years old. I'm like, this is not even
they
you at
probably
least go to the album one and then dislike that. Pretend you don't like the music. Damn, y'all be ooh. So
they probably had
I just
automatic
laugh.
dislike on it. They don't even got to do it. They just put a notification on when you do it, just to automatically
Yeah, so
dislike.
I have some, and then the funniest thing, I had somebody who followed my Facebook page, and so they have sent me a screenshot like, "Hey, I'm watching your video," but then they had the camera on their screen, and I see the big blue thumb on the dislike. I'm like, "What the hell?" Okay, I'm a big fan of yours. Get
Ah,
out of my messages.
I
Like,
mean,
God,
yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, I'll get it together."
that's a new way right there.
And I was like,
That's,
"What?" Wait
oh
a
yeah.
minute.
Maybe they just
I was
wanted to
like,
show
"Thank
you
you for
how much of
supporting."
a fan. They wanted to show you how much of a fan they are, right?
I was like, they go dislike. I was like, I don't what kind of mess. Let me find out you that person. They go dislike me. Look at me
Yeah,
watching your video. Oh, okay.
I can't
YouTube
even
is
go.
kind of fun. It's a good little comedic relief though. So it's a pretty cool little thing.
It's
Um,
a it's a good thing. Like honestly, I think it should all be good. Honestly, it
mhm.
can't happen that way, but for the most part, I like to have fun and reply back to everything I can. Uh, some people are like I would say loyal in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
and some people they just want like for me, I I do I did reactions. I don't know if I still do them or not, if I want to, or whatever. But they want me to do something, and they'll just spam it and spam it and spam it, and then if I upload another video that's not that, they'll spam it, dislike it, write a mean comment. But you were just
Mm-hmm.
a fan and you wanted me to do something, but then I didn't do it right away, and now they upset. So
That
I
that's
don't
been the hardest with my channel because I feel like people come to my channel for like 3 or 4 different reasons. Some people come solely for my music opinions. They only come, they'll do the R&B is dead on the war, so that's all they're watching. They don't care about nothing else. And then I got some who, because I talk a lot of pro-black everything, you got the We Was Kings crew. So you got all of them who are, always down, and they only want me to talk race, and they want me to bash this group and tell these people where they can go. And then there's some people who just like my like political, not political, entertainment commentary around like whatever celebrities are doing. And then there's some people who just come for my music or sometimes I guess the podcast. So it's weird because sometimes you got people who are there for one thing, and then I upload a video that has nothing to do with what they signed up for, so then they be mad. Especially, it used to be really weird with like a lot of people who were white that were subscribed because they'd be like, "Oh my god, you're so funny," and then the next video I'm going off because the police have shot somebody. And so they're like, "Whoa, whoa, I didn't know you were like this. Like, you've lost a
Whoa now,
subscriber."
buddy,
Okay,
I didn't subscribe here for this. I'm
yeah,
unsubscribing.
they'll let you know they're leaving. Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Why do people do that? Why do they feel the need to let me know that I never understand that.
I like that and dislike. I don't think I've ever disliked the video on YouTube. If I didn't like it, I just turned it off. I was impressed. That was it. Yeah. And if somebody does video I don't agree with, I'm like, oh, I ain't watching. I don't even give the energy to give a comment. So,
Like
because
what
the
is
more
your
people comment on something, it affects the algorithm in YouTube. So it still gives them more traction. They would still make more revenue from it. So I'd rather just not look at the video.
yeah,
Um,
but isn't that wasting your own energy?
right.
I dislike this. That's like 7 seconds of your life wasted, or however many seconds of your life that you just waste on something that you don't care about.
That's why I feel bad that some of the people who will write like a full dissertation about whatever it is I said that they didn't like, and I'm normally like also for my own sanity. If I already know it's a bad comment, I don't read the whole thing. If it get all right, there's that. If somebody disagrees, which is fine because we're not always going to agree on everything, especially on like the political videos. I'll read it if you're like honestly, trying to just be your genuine self and you just really feel concerned about something. But when it's you're an effing idiot and you're okay, yeah, and then you don't wrote 2 paragraphs. Ain't nobody reading that, and I got 1,000 more of these to get through. No, so there's that. But I like it. There's been some really cool people that follow me, and some have been following me for like years because my channel didn't even get monetized until I think 2 years ago. It was monetized when I first started, and then I don't know what happened. I lost it from 2012 to about 2017. So I was doing videos for free. So um, yeah. So YouTube it's entertaining.
Yeah. So aside from like the stuff that you do you have like a certain favorite thing that you like to watch on YouTube? Because YouTube is kind of
Yeah.
getting that. YouTube is getting in that like TV-ish territory. Like everybody upload their stuff to YouTube rather than YouTube get more views than like people on the TV get because they watch it later and all that.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah.
my favorite, my favorite things to watch on YouTube. There's a channel called Bright Sun Films. I love that
Mhm.
channel. It's a channel. They have a series where they just talk about what is it called? Is it Bankrupt? It's like Abandoned or something like that. But they just kind of talk about different businesses like Circuit City and how they used to be super huge and then how they went bankrupt. So I always want like that from like a business aspect. They'll talk about like how Kmart is struggling or JCPenney. I'm obsessed with that channel for some reason. So I'll watch those. Um, I also watch a bunch of like random throwback performances, videos, concert clips. I always end up getting into
Yeah.
artists that came out from before I was born or from when I was too young to remember. Um, as far as actual bloggers, I don't really watch anybody else just because I don't have a lot of time. Like my schedule is so demanding, I don't really get a lot of leisure time to really follow anybody. But I am subscribed to a few people.
Mm.
Um, just to kind of see where everybody else is at. Because I feel like with YouTube, you also have to evolve as well. Because you can get left in the dust. Because I remember it's kind of like the blog sites. If you just look at what the biggest blogs were 10 years ago, most of them aren't here anymore. So
Yeah.
you have to evolve. So I do kind of check out and see what other people are doing. And so I think that's how my channel kind of shifted a little bit the last year. I started trying to be more purposeful as far as adding more visuals and supporting stuff with whatever I was blogging about, and like fixing my audio and stuff because people used to complain about the audio. So um, who else do I watch? Dang, what do I be watching? It's really that Bright Suns film thing. And there's another channel called like Defunct Land. So that's like all the theme parks that opened and closed, or Six Flags in New Orleans and how it never
So you
opened up.
watch them like you watch them videos in like the abandoned Six Flags or the abandoned so
Yeah,
and so.
I'm into all that, all the
Okay,
historical stuff. Um, what
I was
really
watching.
happened tonight? So and so
Yeah.
fell off the stage. All of that. That's right
Oh,
up my
see.
alley.
Oh man, we could talk about that in another podcast. I mean, I usually I usually watch other people in my category. I will say like people that do like stuff that I like to do. Maybe
Hmm.
it helped me get better. But for the most part, it's concerts, concerts, concerts. That's all you see down my down my list. Concerts, 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 concerts. Maybe you see some like a podcast or something. You see more concerts, 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 concerts. You know.
Oh, I do watch the girl Impressive. I like when she does the like she tries to do kind of like the little mini documentaries. I'll watch those. Or she'll say, "Well, what happened to A. Marie?" or something like that. I always watch those. Like, okay, so I do like watching
I would
those.
really want to do a mini documentary, but I know that's hard work, and I'll be honest with you, that's just too much for me right now. But hopefully, I would do one. Like if I was to do one, I probably do one on. I do one on Paul Williams from the Temptations because he just to me underrated. So I probably do one on him if I was to ever do something in that nature, like an unsung or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm gonna cut it off right there because I think we talked long enough and we have more gunk for another time for you to be on. So anything you want to plug before we go?
Uh, just my album is out, self-produced.
Okay.
It's called The
Okay.
Hardcover. It is on every digital media outlet you can find. Just under the name Calvin Michaels. Literally just came out, I think, last week. So, that's probably the one main plug I got right now. And then my podcast, Comedically Hardheaded, also on all the same outlets.
Anything else? Any last words? Any sayings? Any phrases? Anything?
I have nothing for you. Like, just be great. Go be your best.
And don't be mean on people's videos, man.
Yeah, I'll chill with all them dang dissertations and dislikes. I mean, because people dislike a puppy video. I'm like, y'all crazy. So,
Don't don't send Calvin the video. Say that you're watching this video and you done thumbs down the video. Please don't
right.
do. Okay. Well, I still haven't found my button yet. So what I say when I end is prime time is all the time. But I don't. I need to add a sound. Can you help me out with a sound I can add after that, like an explosion or a boom or a sound? You got anything for me?
You gotta get a sound bite from a movie or something, because everybody and mom uses an explosion. You gotta get like some. You better use the "Ain't Nobody Come to See You" Otis line. Have that close out. Something.
I'm still trying to find something. I have to ask everybody for a suggestion.
Either that
Still,
or "Old Girl from Friday" when Craig's girlfriend, when Nia Long is on the porch. Yeah, that I die every time. Um, Damn, I forgot old girl's name.
because
Yeah.
I think I done used mine up. Because on YouTube, on mine, when I want people to subscribe, I got Rush Hour, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a scene where they say push the button,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's like yeah, push
Yeah.
the button, yeah. So I got that, so I can't use that over again. So I
Yeah.
I gotta get something else. Uh, that's it from me, from Calvin. Everybody have a good day or night or a good drive. Whenever you listen to this, just have a good something. Be good. Prime time is all the time, and we out.